Ever since his return to Spain in 1536, DeSoto had been saying he would like a governorship in the New World. In 1537, he got to ask the king in person.
Your Majesty, thank you for granting me this audience.
I welcome the chance to meet a man of so great a reputation. I have heard marvelous stories of your exploits in the Indies.
I've been very lucky. My adventures have made me rich.
And the crown as well. What is it you wish to ask me?
I'm not content to sit at home while there's a whole new world to be explored. In the name of Spain, I wish to conquer the unexplored regions surrounding the lands of which I just came.
DeSoto wanted to conquer Ecuador, Colombia, and Guatemala.
I am pleased with all you have done for the crown thus far. I will speak to my advisors about granting you a governorship in the New World.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
The king consulted his advisors. He was concerned that DeSoto might join other powerful rulers in South Africa and set up their own empire. The king decided to give DeSoto a governorship elsewhere in the New World. He sent for the explorer.
You will go back to the New World as governor of Cuba and Florida. I want you to conquer, pacify, and populate that vast unknown land.
I have heard there's a great deal of wealth there as well.
You will send the crown half of any gold, silver, and gems you find, and you will convert the heathens to Christianity, and you will build forts and harbors.
Yes, Your Majesty, thank you.
DeSoto spent a year preparing for his expedition. It finally left at Port San Lucas, Spain on April 7, 1538. More than 700 people, mostly soldiers, nearly all men, set sail on 7 ships bound for Cuba. One of the few women who sailed with DeSoto was his wife, Isabel. It proved to be a long journey, but Isabel had few complaints.
Some people are concerned that the journey is taking longer than usual.
No need to worry, we will be there soon enough.
I'm not worried. I'm happy for the time with you. Once we reach Cuba, you will be preparing for your expedition to Florida. The journey may separate us for a long time.
Do not worry, we will be very busy while I'm gone.
Why do you say that?
You will see.
DeSoto and his fleet of ships arrived in Cuba in early June. DeSoto immediately began preparing to explore and conquer La Florida. He brought food, tools, weapons, and small items such as knives, needles, and beads to trade with the Indians. He brought horses and hunting dogs. He sent ships to scout the coast of Florida for a good landing port. These sailors returned with good news.
We found a suitable harbor.
In the land.
It is full of promise. It is rich and green. And when we showed the natives their gold rings, they nodded yes. There is much gold to be found in Florida.
Of course.
After nearly our preparations, DeSoto was ready for the journey. He prepared to say goodbye to his wife.
The ships and men are finally ready. I have signed my last will and testament. Now there is something I must ask of you.
And I will pray for you.
You will do more than that. I'm appointed you governor of Cuba.
But I'm a woman. Women don't.
You have more intelligence and character than most men I know. I have no doubt of your will. For the new governor of Cuba.
I will rule as you wish.
Isabel then said goodbye to her husband.
Oh, I hope I will not have to go for too long.
DeSoto did not hear his wife's last word. His mind was racing ahead to the ships that awaited him. There were 9 in all, with about 600 men loaded with provisions. On May 18, 1539, DeSoto set sail for Florida. DeSoto sailed for 7 days before sighting the land, and 5 more before making landfall. He knew his first job was to find a suitable campsite.
Let us march to the north.
DeSoto and about 100 of his men marched 8 miles through thickets and swamps until they sighted an Indian village of Bogota. The governor sent scouts to explore the village. They quickly returned.
There are about 8 huts in there, all empty.
Is there any gold?
No, it didn't even say maize.
There will be plenty of gold later on. For now, this is a suitable campsite. We must move the rest of our people here.
It took 2 days to get all the people, animal, and supplies to Bogota. Once that was done, DeSoto dressed in his finest robes and claimed north for Spain as Juan Ponce de Leon and Panfilo de Narvaez has done before him.
I would like to see what other Indians live around here, Governor.
Go and report back to me.
Moscaso and his men soon met several members of the Tumucan Indian tribe. The Spaniards were startled by the cries of one of the natives.
Ixtala, Ixtala.
Ixvilla is the name of the city in Spain. Next, the man made the sign of the cross.
Halt! Bring that man to me.
The soldier grabbed the tanned and tattooed man and brought him to Moscaso, who took a long look at his face.
You are Spanish.
Yes, I survived the group. I'm a survivor from the group that tried to rescue the Nazis.
And these savages did not kill you?
I escaped from the hand of Haraja, who wanted to recreate the cruelty the Spanish had done to him. I found safety with the Tamukan.
You are with your own now. You will be great of service to serve as a translator.
I'll be honored to replace Spanish.
When DeSoto heard of the Tamukan's kindness to us, he sent gifts to their chief. The chief accepted them graciously, if noticed. Most of the Indians in the area were unhappy about the Spaniards' arrival. Experience had taught them to expect the worst from these bearded men. DeSoto sent scouting parties inland in search of gold. Within 2 months, he heard a promising report.
Governor, we have heard of a province called Kilba, 5 leagues journey from here. The Indians say the area is rich in gold, silver, and pearls.
Let us go to this place. I believe nothing but what I see.
DeSoto left 100 men in Arkatar to await the return of 5 ships he was sending back to Cuba for supplies and recruits. Then he took 500 men and left camp in search of riches. The Spanish soldiers crossed swamps and swollen rivers to reach camp. It was a long, hard journey.
Our men are complaining the travel is difficult in their full armor, and they are getting hungry.
I cannot change the geography of this place, but I can find more food.
At the next village, DeSoto told Ertz to ask the chief for food.
The chief refuses to request governor. If the chief will not give me what I want, I will take it, and I will punish the people for their inhospitable chief.
DeSoto took the food and punished the Indians.
Our men are no longer hungry.
Nor will they ever be, as long as we have to take what we want.
After 5 days, DeSoto and his men reached Hale. They did not find the riches which they hoped for.
There is no gold or silver.
But corn and grain are plentiful, Governor.
Order the men to take as much as we need for 3 months.
DeSoto and his men continued on their journey. They took whatever they wanted: food, slaves, anything. From each village they passed, DeSoto's men were tired from the march, especially from fighting off Indians who ambushed them throughout the journey. Finally, on September 15th, 1539, they reached the village of Napu.
The chief of this village welcomes us. That Indian guide say he has prepared a feast for us.
Wait, Governor, I understand their language and heard differently.
What do you plan for us? They say surprise attack. You must prepare for your men for the ambush.
My men shall be prepared.
The next day, Vitaccio invited DeSoto to review his warriors on a plain outside the village. His warriors had laid down their weapons so they were hidden in the grass. DeSoto and his men followed Vitaccio in the field. Then DeSoto raised his arm and shouted,
Attack!
DeSoto and his men killed 40 of Vitaccio's 400 men. They continued the journey on. Over the next 6 months, DeSoto and his army marched through present-day Georgia and North Carolina. Then they turned south into Alabama. They continued to rob Indian villages and be the target of Indian arrows. All winter, DeSoto and his men asked the natives where they could find gold. They were delighted when a young captive described a land of riches.
The country Copita Check is near the rising sun. I've heard there is more gold there than anywhere in the world.
If that is true, this kingdom offers greater riches than Mexico or Peru.
Who rules this country?
The cacique is a woman.
A woman?
Yeah, she's very powerful. Many chiefs fear and respect her.
We fear no one. Let us march east.
DeSoto and his army marched. On May 1st, they reached the Waterloo River, where they were met by numbers of canoes. In one of them sat a woman wearing a long strand of pearls, surrounded by attendants.
We have had word of your
Welcome to my kingdom.
As she spoke, the Calcia lifted her paws over her head and handed them to DeSoto.
Thank you, Alexandria. Now I shall give you a gift.
With these words, DeSoto removed a large ruby ring from his finger and gave it to the Calcia.
I have sent many of my people to stay elsewhere during your visit so that you and your people will be comfortable. I will send canoes to bring you across the river.
DeSoto and his men were made very comfortable in Pita Shop. While there was no gold, there were hundreds of tons of freshwater pulp to satisfy them. And the fertile land provided plenty of food to satisfy their hunger.
Many of our men are saying they would like to make a settlement here. There are pearls and food, and scouts have found the sea harbor just 2 days away.
Have they forgotten their dreams of golden glory? Have you, Misaka?
No, Governor.
Good, then let us prepare to leave. I have heard there's a tribe to the northwest that possesses gold. Less than a year will take us there.
The Calcia refused to accompany DeSoto and his men, so the conquistador took her and several of her people against their will. Then the Spaniards followed the dreams north into the Appalachian Mountains, becoming the first Europeans to cross this mountain range. When the hard walk did not turn to gold, they turned south. As they marched through present-day Alabama, the Spaniards met a powerful chief named Pascual. The chief showed no fear of the Spaniards. He offered them a welcome feast, which DeSoto and his men enjoyed.
Soda.
Thank you for this splendid feast. Now I must ask you to give us men to carry our burdens and food during our journey.
I don't serve others. I'm served by others. I'm a chief.
I will put you on your guard while you think about my request.
The next day, DeSoto came to see Pascual.
What do you say for punishment for men and food now?
I'll give you 400 men as carriers, but I won't give you food. I'm getting hungry here.
Must I take it?
No? I'll ride to you to my other city, Mobila, where food is plentiful. There you will get everything you want.
Secretly, Tuscaloosa had sent word ahead to Vermont to prepare an ambush. Some of DeSoto's scouts had heard of it.
Governor, I've seen many men in arms enter the cell we are approaching.
They are even strengthening the palisade.
We have nothing to fear. It is the townspeople who will be struck with fear when we march into town on horseback.
DeSoto was wrong. When the Spaniards entered the town, they were attacked by thousands of Indians. They quickly escaped as DeSoto began shouting orders.
Surround the palisade. We will break it down.
The Spaniards began breaking through the fortress. The Indians fought back, but the Spaniards had better weapons. After hours of fighting, the Spanish broke through the wall and set the town on fire, thus ending the battle.
What are our losses?
We have lost 22 men, 80 horses, and much of our equipment was burned in the fire.
We will rest until the land is recovered. Then we will continue our march.
While they were still in Mabala, Ertz came to speak with DeSoto.
Indian captives tell me that they've seen Spanish ships in the harbor just 80 miles away. They may be our ships.
DeSoto thought about this. He knew if he returned to Cuba now, his expedition would be considered a disaster. His men were sick and hungry, but worse, they had found no treasure. They could not go back. DeSoto grabbed Ertz's arm.
I order you not to tell anyone about these ships. Do you understand?
Yes, Governor. DeSoto ordered his men to march north away from the coast. They wintered in Abambu. Come spring, they insisted on taking 200 local Chickasaws, Indian as quotas. The Chickasaws' chief launched a secret attack, killing 12 Spaniards and 50 horses, and destroying many of the Spaniards' weapons. DeSoto packed up and headed west. DeSoto's men moved slowly now, hampered by hunger, sickness, and injuries. They were beginning to despair that they would never leave the swampy wilderness they marched through.
coming up ahead, there is a farm surrounded by fields of maize, and in the distance, a great ribbon of water.
DeSoto hurried ahead to see for himself.
That is the great water of which the Indians have spoken. Let us go. We will fill our stomachs and supply our bags in the village. Then we will look at the great water.
DeSoto and his men took what they needed from the village. Then they marched to the riverbank.
We will call this the great river, the Rio Grande, and claim it for Spain.
I wonder what lies on the other side.
We will sail across and find out.
DeSoto and his men chopped trees for lumber to build wooden barrages. They crossed the Mississippi on June 18th and spent the next 9 months wandering around present-day Arkansas. Wherever they went, they asked for gold. They were always told it was further on. By the following spring, DeSoto's men were tired of looking.
Governor, we have lost more than half our men, including our two-thirds quantity. We have only 40 of the 230 horses we started with.
It is time to turn back. We will return to the great river and build boats. Then we will sail down the river to Mexico.
By the time the Spaniards reached the Mississippi, DeSoto was very sick with the fever. He called his officers to his bedside.
I will not survive this expedition.
But Governor, you have survived so much.
I will not survive this. Before I die, I want to thank you for your loyalty despite the hardships you suffered.
The men could not speak.
I also want to ask you for any forgiveness for any offense I might have given you.
The scout cleared his throat.
Will you appoint a successor?
Yes, I put my friend Louis Masako as my successor.
I am honored.
Please tell the men and send a priest to hear my confession.
Several days later, on May 21st, 1547, DeSoto lost consciousness and died. His men worried that the natives would attack if they knew the feared leader was dead. They wrapped DeSoto's body in a ragged cloth and in the middle of the night sank it in the middle of the Mississippi River.
Wait, is that afterward?
No, we don't have to read that.
Okay.